Today, I'll unbox this watercolor sketchbook from St. Louis Art Supply and try out Japanese watercolors for the first time. But first, let's take a walk in the woods. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. So I have to tell you about what happened while I was doing all that filming. When we went hiking, I was not intending to do any vlogging at all, but when I got there at the trailhead, it was so beautiful and I just couldn't help myself. So I pull out my phone, I start filming, and my husband Douglas, who's a biologist, walks by me because he's out there to actually do a little bit of work, and he says to me something like, "I'm going to go up the trail and do blah, blah, blah." And I didn't really hear him. Because I wasn't really paying attention to him. And I'm filming and I'm looking at all the beautiful flowers and all the trees, and then I look up and think, where's Douglas? So I start walking and I'm thinking, oh, I'll catch it to him around the next curve. Nope. Oh, he'll be over this next hill. Nope. So I'm walking and looking at trees and kind of getting lost in filming and then thinking, hey, wait a minute, where's Douglas? So I start to feel a little bit anxious. Now, I want to clarify that I was in no danger whatsoever. There were no other hikers on the trail. There was no reason to feel anxious, except that I didn't know where my husband was. It took me 45 minutes to catch up to him. And by then I had texted him twice, and I had seen that they both had been delivered, but he hadn't answered me. And then when I caught up to him, he was so apologetic and so sweet that I couldn't even be mad at him. And then the rest of the hike was lovely. So today I've got a couple of things for you. I've got a review of this notebook, which is a watercolor notebook manufactured by St. Louis Art Supply. This is an Instagram impulse buy, but I really, really love it, and I'm looking forward to showing you more about that. And then I'm also going to introduce you to Japanese watercolor. This is a YouTube impulse buy. I saw these on Pear Floor's vlog, and I don't know if you follow her. She's wonderful. And I have been wanting these for a while, and I finally got some, and I absolutely love them. So let's get started. I first saw this watercolor sketchbook on Instagram and was attracted by the design, but most of all because it's available with hot press paper. This watercolor journal comes with 25% cotton Fabriano paper. It's 300 GSM, which is 140 pounds. The paper is very smooth with basically no texture at all. I love the sturdy spiral binding. On this mixed media sketchbook by another manufacturer, you can see how spiral bindings often look. Here's the comparison with the St. Louis Art Supply journal, and you can really see the difference in quality. I tried out the watercolor journal with several types of media to see how the paper performs. This is watercolor wet on dry and wet into wet. You can see how the paint is pooling on the surface, so I don't think it will be very good for traditional watercolor. My first tests with the Japanese watercolor weren't very promising either. But the colored pencil looks great. I also tried blending the colored pencil using Gansai to see how it performs, and the Gansai soaked through to the other side, but when dry, it didn't seem to stain at all. So I just wanted to say a few more things about these colors. As you can see on the inside of the lid here, you've got the colors in Japanese, a number, and the English name of each color. On the palette itself, you do not have the English names of the colors, only the numbers. So that means you're going to have to memorize the names if you want to know them what they are. There are 12 colors in the set: red, rose madder deep, cadmium scarlet, lemon yellow, sap green, viridian, ultramarine, indigo, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, black, and white. I did make an entire paint out of all of the colors here, as you can see, a whole color chart. And my attempt here was to do a darker, more saturated, less water version on the upper right, and then a more watered down version on the lower left. This is on mixed media paper, and in retrospect, I really wish I had done this on proper watercolor paper. I am still learning the handling qualities of this paint. As you can see, especially on these watery mixes, I got quite a lot of blooms here, which I've been able to control better in other circumstances, such as on the Goldfinch that you saw earlier. So just a couple of things about these color mixes that I thought were worth calling attention to, and one is how the black mixes with other colors. You can see by virtue of the fact that when we mix black with red, for example, we get a purple. Rose madder deep, we're getting a purple. When you mix it with lemon yellow, you get a green. So there's a lot of blue pigment in this black. Here's the completed American Goldfinch painted in the Japanese watercolor. I am thrilled with how it turned out. Because the paint reactivates after it dries, I discovered I can do lifts to adjust values and get gorgeous effects and shadows. It's a very forgiving medium. Yay! Be sure to subscribe and hit that like button, and check out this video to see more of my work.